Hi guys, this is Mike back with the Django tutorial for you. This time we're going to deal with models, database models, and establishing relationships between models, and then using the form sets to actually input more information and link in data from different tables and then display them on our website. Now, the first thing to do with to establish a relationship is that we have to declare a new class, a model class, and in this case we're going to extend the article model to now include a link to comments that people can leave on the website. So to do that we need to create a comments model. Now to do that we need to go into our models.py file, which is inside of our article folder, which is the app folder for the articles module that we've been building throughout the series. And in there we're just going to start by defining a comment. It derives from our standard model, so it should have all the functionality of a normal model, and then it has the following fields. We have a name field, so someone can leave their name in the comment, and that is defined as a character field of length 200. And then we have a body field, which is a text field, which can be variable size in text length. So that should then show up as a text area in HTML, and this should be a text field in HTML. Then we have a pub date, which is similar to what we did with our article, but this one is going to store the date that someone left the comment. And this will be a datetime field, exactly like our pub date from our article. Now, we don't need to alter that text. You can do if you want to, but it doesn't really matter to me. It's not going to make anything better for us, so I'm just going to ignore that for the time being, because I've literally just cut and pasted from the top there. What we're really going to focus on is the next line. The next line is how we establish our relationship between comment and article. And to do that, we use one of the relationship fields that we have with the Django framework. So we're going to say this comment has an article field, and it's of type foreign key. Now Django adds in a few different types. You can have foreign key, you can have many to many, which is just two, for instance. There's lots of different, there's a few different types of relationships that you can establish, but we're just going to stick with this one because it fits the needs of our situation. If you want to find out what all the available ones are there, then it's easy to just Google and you'll get all the information you need to know if you need to have a different relationship established. In the case of our foreign key, we're going to say that it's linked to the article model. So notice there we're not doing any kind of database schema. We're just saying in Python this field, this member variable, is linked to this class, and then behind the scenes Django will work out what that means in terms of database schema for us and establish that for us anyway. So we don't need to be able to do that ourselves. We just basically write in Python, plain and simply, what we think the relationship should be, and then just let Django do the rest, which is awesome. Now obviously we want to be able to add in comments on the web page, so we need to define our form. So as you remember from our forms tutorial, we need to basically add in a new form definition. So we're still working within this article folder, and we're working with the forms.py file in here, where we previously established our article form. So we're just going to basically define another form for our comment, and this is going to be even simpler than the article form, because there's going to be a couple of two or three less things that we're going to add in. So the first thing we do is we make sure that we import our comment from the models file. So we've added that on the end there. the next thing we do is just basically say this is a comment form, it's of the type model form from our Django forms framework. And then again we're going to do the whole meta class definition. You do this for every form if you need specific things done. You can leave this out if you just want a bog standard form that shows everything that's associated with the model, but we want to exclude a couple of the fields from there. So to do that, we add on our meta class, and we say the model is the comment model. Then it'll go away and look inside the comment model and realize there are 4 fields in there. We've got name, body, pub date and article. We only want to show the name and body, so we say the fields we want this form to display are name and body, and then we're done. Simple as that, no complications. That's our form ready, and that should then be able to know how to render itself into HTML and also how to save itself into the database later on. So that next it remains for us just to basically start and create a view that we can start and use these forms and models on. So the first step in that is to just basically define how do we actually access that view through the URLs. So we create another URL, and again this is the same urls.py file inside of our articles folder. We add one more line. This one is very similar to the other ones we've added where we wanted to pass through the article ID, but this time it's going to be called add_comment, and we're going to link to that from our article web page. We're going to have an added comment link on the web page, and then you're going to be able to click through to this link with the article ID in the URL, and then it will take in whatever comment you add. So that's going to pass through an article ID, and we're saying that it's going to pass through to the view called add comment, which is in our articles views.py file. So let's define the view. Over in our articles views.py file, we've already got all the previous methods that we created from before. Now just scroll up to the top. We've added in our comment as a model, so we've included that from our article models file. Then we've included our form from the article from the forms.py file, and the next thing we need to do is we need to add in from Django.utilities, import the time zone object. Now if you've seen the previous models tutorial that I did, you'll know what that time zone thing does. It basically allows us to access what the time is right now on the server, so that when we create an article, or in this case a comment, we can set that pub date to whatever the time is right now. Because in Django the rule is that this pub date can't be saved as null, like it can't be empty. So we have to put something in there, and in this case we're going to put in what the time is right now. So with that and all of our things imported, our comment form in this time zone object that we're going to use, let's define our view right at the bottom here. So the first thing is just to add in our definition of the function. Always remember to put the request in there as the first argument, and then obviously it's going to pass through that article ID as we've defined in our URLs page. Then we're just going to load in the article, and the reason why we're going to do that is because we need that article object so that we can firstly display the correct form and have it set up so that it will post back and save to the correct article, and in the case when we actually save things, we want to be able to associate our comment with that article object. So it's best that we just load it in straight away both times, once for displaying the actual form and twice for saving it. So the next thing is we do, again, like we did in all the other times when we were actually saving stuff into the database or posting information back, we do our if request method equals post, then create a comment form using the post array, and then we're just going to say if it's valid we need to do the following steps. This is where it starts getting interesting, because we're going to start and establish relationships between the article and the comment. So how do we do that? The first thing we do is we save the form, but we say commit equals false. So that says save this form, but don't push anything into the database just yet because we're not finished. And in the case of this, we actually return an instance of a comment in this object, and that's how the save method works. It returns an instance of the current model. So we've saved this comment sort of in the system. It's prepared, ready to put it into the database, but we're going to keep it as an instance just here, because next we're going to establish the relationship between this comment and the article. First of all, we use our timezone.now to put in the pub date, because we need that to be in there before we can save the whole thing anyway. And then we will simply say the comment, or C in this case, dot article equals the article object that we've pulled out the database. And then we literally just use the very hard to remember save method. And that's it. That's our relationship established. Those two records in the separate tables will now be linked. And it's as simple as that. There's nothing complicated about that at all. You're literally just saying, here we are, link this to the other table and save it. Very simple. So with that, we then choose to redirect using our HTTP response redirect method through to the article that we originally came from when we clicked our link to add a comment. And then the next step is just to say, alternatively, if this is not the post method, if it's the first time round where we've seen this, we just want to load a bog standard comment form with no post information in it, then we're going to add in our cross-site request forgery token into there so that we can have our form protected. Then we add in our article into the list of things that we're going to pass through to the template, and we're going to add in the form so that when we write our template we can then access those and use them to set up our system. And then good old render to response passes through to our new template add comment.html with all these arguments that we've set up in our dictionary. Okay, so that's our view set up. We're going to load in an article, check to see if it's the post method, and if it is, then we're going to set up our relationships and save our comment alongside this article. If not, we're going to set up so that we can take in a comment in readiness for the information being input by the user. So finally, let's have a look at our template for adding a comment. Now this is a template that we're keeping inside of the article folder in the templates folder, so that everything's kept modularized, or modular, whatever you like to say. And here it is. Again, extends the base to HTML. We override the block sidebar a little bit because we want to be able to have a cancel option in here. And then in the content area, we use our action to be articles add comment with the article ID, hence we had to include the article object instance. I'll just skip over the CSRF token. Here we're rendering our form as a user list, or an ordered list, sorry. And that's pretty much it. That takes in our information, and it should render two fields, the name and the body, and then that will be passed back through to our view where we'll establish our relationship and save it. This is all pretty simple stuff, it's not complicated in any way, and that's pretty much all of our coding that we need to do. Now the next step is we need to synchronize the database, because we've got a new model in there. We've got the comment model in, so we need to run python manage.py syncdb. I've already done that, so you wouldn't see that in my messages, but you hopefully will see some confirmation in yours. So once you've run that syncdb command, it should now acknowledge that you've got your comment model set up, and then we just need to run our server and have a look and see if it worked. So I've already added this in, so let's click on test 1 as a title of an article. We should now see an extra link that I added. I'll just backtrack and show you how I did that. In the articles, I just added an extra paragraph in there with a link with the user, with the article ID, just so you can click that. So that's just quickly showing you how I did that. So you can see there are no comments here, but there's a link to add comment, and as you can see down in the bottom left hand corner, that gives us the URL articles add underscore comment /1. So let's click there, and here we get the page where the form has rendered itself as HTML. So let's just quickly add a little comment, and if we post our comment, it should push us back to the comment page the article page where we're reading the article, and it should appear in the list of comments underneath. So there you go. Let's just add another one just for the sake of showing that you can list things, and then I'll show you actually how we actually print out the relationships. So there you go, 2 new comments in the bottom there. So how did we get that to print out? In our comment section, in our article page, we have a comment section. We're going to use we used a for loop to actually go into the article itself and access something called comment set. Now under the hood, Django knows that the relationship that we established between the comment and the article is there, so that we can then go and say article has a member variable called comment, or it's related to a comment model rather. And because there are more than one of them, because comment has a foreign key relationship with article, it has a set of comments, so it can have more than one comment. So that's a one-to-many relationship for the article to the comments. So we're saying article has a comment model, but it has a set of information. And then we do the all. Now, you have seen us use the all method in things like when we showed our, let's just see if I can find it. There we are. So when we showed all of the article objects, but in this case we write it out slightly differently. Notice I'm not using the brackets on the end there. That's because, as I said in a previous tutorial when we handled templates, template language is like Python but is not Python. It's very like Python, and it's nice and simple, but it's not exactly the same. So in the case of the template language, we're not using those brackets. It's assumed by the template language that's what you meant, and that's obviously because we've used these kind of brackets to say that this is logic and it's not a variable name. So it looks at that and says, is that a method? Yes it is, let's execute it. And then this returns a list of comments that are associated with that article from the comment set. So if we had named our model, I don't know, for the sake of argument, cheese, that would have read cheese set instead. Fortunately, we're not mental, so we didn't name it cheese, we named it comment. And that's how we get all the information out of the various different models when they're linked together in a relationship. So that we're just going to stick with the foreign key relationship in this situation, but you'll find that the many relationship you access in a very similar way. If you want to find out exactly how that's done, just give it a quick Google. It's easy to find. There's lots of information out there that will help you. Now that you've had this demonstration, you should be able to understand how all the other stuff fits together. Once you know one way, it's all very similar. So that's the end of this this tutorial. I hope that you found a lot of things to learn from this. I hope it was really beneficial to you, and if you liked this video, please click the like button down below. If you want to know more about Django or Python, then please click the subscribe button and you'll be given a notification as soon as there's new tutorials out. And I hope that you come back more for some more information and learn more in the future. Okay, thanks for watching.